Hey, I am Pops. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. Man, no spoilers for a minute. Let's get through a little bit, tell you about the movie. It is long, it is 163 minutes. It doesn't feel that long, but it kind of does. So I'll get to that. Um, Basically, this is a story again. Ethan Hunt called into action. IMF bring back a ton of the old characters: Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Vanessa Kirby. Um, Tons of great stuff and tons of new stuff as well, which is part of the reason the film is so long. It's going to check all your boxes. It's going to have incredible stunts, incredible action. Tom Cruise doing his own thing. Tom Cruise running through the street. It's like Mission Impossible bingo, right? You know, Jamie cracking jokes and Ving Rhames being like super tech guy on a laptop. Like it's just going to go down the checklist, right? This is going to have more of a really cool modern spin on conversations about AI, what the next war would be like, what the next threat could be, informational warfare leading into more like devastation or risk towards humanity, who would control that, government corruption, all those kinds of things are going to come into play. So I do wish the film was a little bit shorter, but I don't necessarily have a great solution on where I would cut some of those scenes down or time without looking at them. I will feel like a couple of the action sequences get a little greedy, kind of like the way John Wick 4 did, where it could have been, if it's a 10-minute sequence, it could have been 7. If it's 5 minutes, could it have just been 3.5? Those kinds of things. Like it just seemed like it was a little more of everything they did. So the new characters are great. I really enjoyed Haley Atwell as Grace. I think she was fantastic. So Mantis is in that. Palm Clementieff, I think is how you say her name. She plays a French assassin who looks like she stepped right out of a John Wick film. She is really, really good. Shea Wiggum plays, one of the people that's involved with trying to track down Ethan. Asai Morales plays Gabriel. Now, Gabriel is basically the other bad guy in the film, with the AI basically called the Entity. And I think I said Jamie earlier. I meant Benji. I don't know why I said Jamie. Simon Pegg's character. Um, I think that Simon Pegg's character and Luther, being Ram's character, having these AI conversations with Ethan, some of those, it's really, really a great deep story of what action films could and should be in a lot of ways. So with that said, let me get into some spoilers and some deeper stuff. If you don't want to get into that, I totally understand it. The film is definitely among the best films of the year. Take that for what it's worth, where I'm not really a big fan of most films. I don't know that this is a great film. I think Fallout is a better Mission Impossible film. Let's be honest, but it's not. It's not bad. Tom Cruise is a stud, man. He's bringing it. He has such an incredible energy with Christopher McQuarrie's vision behind the camera to bring you real life set pieces, practical effects, uh, raising the stakes. I mean, you've seen train sequences. Well, let's level that up. We've seen motorcycle stuff. Let's level that up. We've done street car chases. Well, let's do this. It's like, wow. They just keep doing things that it's a fun experience. I don't know if it'll be quite the box office boom that maybe some people are expecting, but I think it's very solid. I wouldn't mind sitting through it in a theater. I don't think I'm going to be able to convince Mrs. Pops of such, because it is going to be about a 3-hour investment when you factor in some trailers, lead up, plus travel time, stuff like that. So it's a lot, but it'll be a fun experience. It's a fine movie. No real objections. There's no major cursing. There's no major sex scenes. There's nothing weird or anything like that. You get 4 kick butt super women, and it's never woke. You get really cool 90s stuff, action, adventure, fun, spy stuff without it becoming weird, hokey cliches and full of a bunch of weird tropes. It's just got all the Mission Impossible check boxes. So as long as you like that, I think you're going to like this film. So let's get into spoilers. The fact that the AI is we reveal a lot to the audience in the opening sequence, and then we have a group of bureaucrats who meet and they're going to discuss it and then kind of translate that into what the story is going to be for us with this MacGuffin chase for these keys. Kittredge is back. He played, from the early Mission Impossible film. Carrie Ellis is back as sort of like the director of national intelligence. You also have like Mark Gaddis has a role. Tons of so you have this sort of like bureaucracy. All of that stuff in that very beginning felt some of the most bloated elements, especially because later on we have to revisit it some, right? We have to kind of keep catching other characters up. We have to repeat it. We have to discuss, well, we didn't really have to have both keys. You just got to know where the thing is. So a lot of that, I think, is when I talked about the bloated length of the film, that's probably where it's at. But the premise of all this, especially in the middle of all this conversation about Chat GPT and AI trying to level itself up, could it just learn on its own? Would it just do those things? I think is really, really fascinating and really, really interesting. Everything is just, I think, top tier, top notch. Let me pull up. We got to do our parts here to try to not get crushed under copyright. We'll take a look at some of the footage in one of the trailers. So this is him racing. So this is this scene. Okay. Missed the train. And how does he try to get on the train? Well, he's on a motorcycle and Benji's giving him directions. And this is the scene that had been leaked. This is the big thing that had been done where he's going to do this jump off this cliff to try to catch a plane. It is really spectacular. Really spectacular. This is all just set up stuff in the trailer. There wasn't a lot here. When you're looking for Elsa early in the film, this is very early in the film. And the film does not shy away from let's make some bad decisions. Let's just do some stuff that we won't be able to go back from, right? Elsa's been disavowed. She's still connected to Ethan. All that's going to come back into play, and how she's going to be kind of brought into the loop. You also have Vanessa Kirby back. She played White Widow. She's basically the daughter of Max from the very first film, right? And so that is also a part of this film, which I think is also really great. So it has this sort of like legacy idea. Kittredge. Let's see. Yeah, all of this is just really from a couple of scenes. This is really not a lot of information. I was hoping to get to one or two of the scenes. Okay, that's the sub. That's key to the element with these keys. And this is one of the other elements where they have to meet. Okay, so there is Morales. Gabriel. Gabriel has ties to Ethan's past and comes into play. It's tricky. So we're really in spoiler territory. So here's where I'm at. Is he supposed to just be a dude that knows what's going on with the AI? Is he an AI manifestation of what the AI knows? My spoiler alert conspiracy theory is they will try to go to possible Neuralink type stuff in the second film. And that's why he seems so in tune with all of that. I think he plays it all pretty well, but he almost plays it kind of cold and almost like a robot, almost like an AI android or something, right? But this was really, really cool premise. All of this stuff was beautifully done. It's fantastic. Here's one of the stunts. This is Mantis chasing them, and they're in this little tiny Fiat looking thing. Do they show? Yeah, there it is. So if you want to get on the nose with how good Mission Impossible can be, it's almost like they purposely said, let's do an action sequence with one arm tied behind our back. And quite literally, what they did in this scene was handcuff them to each other, handcuffed to the steering wheel. So literally, let's do an action sequence where he literally is handcuffed. I mean, it's crazy. This did go on a little too long, and it was really, really quite absurd, but it is also fun. Haley Atwell's great. There's Vanessa Kirby. Beautiful set pieces, beautiful locations, beautiful tech. That's a little shot of the airport sequence, which I don't know if there's much of that in this trailer. Yeah, typical look at that movie still shots of being in a boat. Beautiful aerials. There's him jumping on that cliff. There's that famous shot that they revealed in the trailer. Let's see what else. Oh, this is on top of the train, which you talked about. So I just want to get to real quick the airport thing because it needs to be said that this is where Christopher McQuarrie is really, really, really good because he found a way to create like a suspense and a tension in this. Can we get the key in the airport scene with who's blinking where and what's the AI going to be? Gabriel's role and where is Grace? It's incredible. And then even when they have an Ethan running scene, they just come up with something different to do with it. They just don't do exactly the same thing. They do little things, and that creates a little bit of levity at times. Again, with Benji and Luther, there's always moments to try to like decompress a little bit of the air as we kind of get pumped up with tension and stuff sometimes. But again, I go back to I don't like that it's quite so long, but I don't necessarily have a great solution on where I'm going to trim a lot. I think in that first act, that first half hour or so, I think we could probably trim that down a little bit to more like a 15 to 20 minutes, lose like 10 minutes or so there. And then there's a couple of sequences and stuff where I think they drug on a little too long with some repetition with some of the dialogue and the storytelling about the keys and the sub. And we repeat it. So I don't think there's any reason we couldn't get it down. It's right now it sits at like 240, 243 includes all the credits. So the credits are like 10 minutes. It's insane. The credits are nuts, right? So let's just say it's 230. I don't think there's any reason we couldn't get it down to 210. I think there's no easily 210. So overall, very solid film, probably about 4 stars. Fallout's the same, maybe 4.5 for Fallout. Really just enjoyed all of the modern ones. Not gonna try to pile on the old ones. I'm in that small camp with the Brian De Palma original where I can't stand to sit through Jim Phelps becoming the villain. I enjoy the film. I have a great time watching it again, but I do not sit through those portions of the film. I can't tell you the last time that I have watched Mission Impossible 2 or 3. I used to just tolerate pieces of both of them and just can't even tell you the last time that I bothered. But when it comes to Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout, I think they're just fantastic. I love all this kind of stuff. I think it's been great. So this one's going to be a fun extension. Look forward to the follow up next year. And yeah, hits all the cylinders. Think it's going to be a blockbuster, and I hope you enjoy watching it. Tell me what you guys think. I look forward to hearing that. Thank you so much for watching. I am Pops.
Right? And I'm not playing no games. Yeah.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.